Okay, here we go again, another racket to review, and this is racket number 683, getting really close to that 700 marker now. It's a Yonex Voltric 0.5DG. I know that some of the players in India, some of the players in Asia really want to know about some of the 0.157DG range, so we've got as many as we could to review those. Firstly, the price point is actually really reasonable. I think it was about the £40. Yeah, it's around the £40 mark for the 0.5. I think that's very good, isn't it, really, for a Voltric, Yonex Voltric racket. Very good value. I know that in different parts of the world you get them different prices, but I think overall that's pretty good. In terms of buying this racket, very hard to buy it in Europe. We will be selling this one at www.badminton-racket-review.com. There's a link below directly to the racket sales site. If you're looking to purchase more than one, or you're in Asia, then you need to go to Badminton Bay. There's a link below again directly to this racket if you're looking to purchase it, or if you're looking to buy more than just the racket, you can go into Badminton Bay, choose what you want, and at the checkout point type in BRR5 and you will get a discount on what you're purchasing. Okay, so availability's good in Asia, not too bad. If you're buying from Badminton Bay, it's not too bad in Europe either. In terms of the manufacturer specs and comparing them to the E-Zone specs, let's start with weight though. It's a 3U weight racket, so 85 to 89 grams. E-Zone weight for this racket, so it's a 3U racket, but it weighs in at 92.5 grams. That's with the Yonex grip and the Yonex BG65 string in the hands. The balance point is naturally going to be head heavy. How head heavy, we don't know, but the E-Zone balance point tests show this to be a quite significantly head heavy racket at 318 mil, so quite in this direction in terms of the balance point. While we're there, the E-Zone shaft stiffness, no, just could not find anything on the shaft stiffness anywhere. So, but I can tell you it has got quite a stiff shaft. On the E-Zone testing, it tested to be very stiff. Other information that is helpful to you, it is maximum string tensions 35 pounds, which is pretty standard on the DG, the durable grade range, but pretty impressive for a Yonex of £40 to have that kind of confidence in their frame. G5 grip, so the grip size is G5, and despite the price point, this is a Taiwanese made racket. It's made in Taiwan and not in China. How much difference that makes? We know that Taiwan's manufacturing process is really high standard. We don't have any information on the material it's made from. No, it has a tri voltage system, it says it's isometric, and that's all the information on the racket. In terms of design, well, it's very bright, it has a nice matte finish, it's typical of a racket made in Taiwan. It's very well executed, not particularly inspiring design, but it's quite nice. Take a look at these close-up images and see what you think. So what did we think using this racket? Well, to be honest with you, the racket is interesting in terms of it does feel typically like a DG racket. So the 20DG, 10DG, 1DG, it has a feel that's similar to those rackets. It's not particularly light to use, it's not particularly quick, and it does feel very stiff in usage. Despite its price point at £40, I would say, unless you have got extremely good technique, you have good footwork, so you're well in time to get to the shuttle, and you are quite strong, you're going to need a pretty strong wrist. if you haven't got all of that going on, don't even think about this. Forget what the overall review is, just don't even think about this racket. It's not made for, definitely if you're a beginner or an intermediate player, I would not bother with this racket. I'd go with an Bros instead. Miles better, much easier to use, much more fun, much more lively. If you're not so keen on a Bros because you're not familiar with them, they're absolutely brilliant quality. There's not been a single issue with the quality of those rackets. But if you're not familiar with them, you could look at Apex, perhaps the Astrox Smash, Astrox 39, but don't look at this if you're at that sort of level of play. Overall, this racket doesn't do anything great. Its smash power is okay, but I can't even imagine smashing repeatedly with this for 2 hours in a doubles session and not coming out with sore body parts, shoulders, elbows, maybe wrists. So I think from that perspective, it's not worth considering. It's definitely a thumbs down, even though it's only £40. The performance really isn't that good. Yeah, and from a doubles perspective, I think from a singles perspective, it's you know, the overhead shots aren't terrible. You will get decent overhead shots, and you will get a reasonable level of control, but that's about it really. It doesn't really offer a lot else, and then you sort of think to yourself, well, this is £40. The Hammerhead by Abros or the Venom or the Nano 9900, you know, they're £43, £49, and you're getting so much more with those rackets in terms of airspeed, in terms of liveliness. They are miles better. Okay, so you have a really good understanding of this racket, its availability, its price, its design, and overall how it performs. You know from us, even though the price point is very reasonable, the racket just does not have the performance in that price bracket to compete. In actual fact, you know, we would recommend it at £40. We would recommend it under most circumstances, but because it does represent great value from the perspective it's a Yonex, from the perspective it's time when it's made, from the perspective it's a Voltric, but it's just not going to do anything for your game. It's, you know, it's very tough. It's very tough sitting in this seat, you know, being part of the team and trying to sort of justify why you do or do not recommend a racket. But I just don't think, you know, I would rather say go and buy the Voltric 0.5DG Slim, because it's double the price, but it is actually going to do some stuff. It's actually going to hit hard. It's actually going to provide decent levels of control. It's going to, you know, give you really good drivability and so on and so forth if you're a Yonex fan. But I don't think there are many people who are going to be able to yield this racket to any degree of decent performance. That's why we have concluded what we've concluded. I think I'm repeating myself because I'm just making sure that it's clear why we said what we said. Now we're going to move on to show you the E-zone smash and maneuver test. A couple of things that have changed. The E-zone now will be updated very shortly, as will be the website. The E-zone has got now 5 additional tests, so we take your understanding and your the testing even deeper, so you get an even better idea of each individual racket performance. The E-zone will also have a new search function in it. It will have a timeline search function, so you can look at the most recently reviewed rackets if that's what you're after. And there will be updates throughout the site in terms of information, registering your club, general information on training, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot going on there. The other thing you need to know is the control test now has stopped. Where we used to drop the shuttle into buckets and score, we now that stopped because of feedback from the E-zone members. We now test for control on the on-court testing, where we're doing drop shots, cross court, straight drops, overhead, direction change. You know, anything that could be related to control is tested and scored from the on-court testing, and that's where the control score comes from now. Outside of that, if you are familiar with the E-Zone and you don't want to see the smash and maneuver test, I'm sure you were looking to sign out. Before you do go, I'd just like to thank you for the likes and the shares, and thank you if you've left reviews on the E-Zone or YouTube. If you haven't, please make it a habit of doing so. As I've repeated many times, very happy for you to disagree or agree with what we have to say, provided you're trying to be helpful to the other people viewing. Comments that are just like, you guys are rubbish, doesn't really help anybody and it doesn't offend us, so there's just no point in making comments like that. You may as well try and be helpful. If you're an E-Zone member, please leave reviews. People find it interesting to know what other people think of the racket, not just what we think, so it's really important that that starts to happen and you start to gain some momentum in doing that. Outside of that, thank you again for all the support from all around the world. We're going to move on to talk about the E-Zone now. If you know all about it already and you're signing out, thank you again. Now moving on to the E-Zone. So the E-Zone is a platform created by Badminton Racket Review. You'll find out more at www.badmintonracketreview.co.uk. The E-Zone is a platform where you can compare rackets from 19 different world-class manufacturers, and you'll have information there that you've never had before. On top of that, all the rackets are tested in the same way, and all the terminology is the same too. So whereas at the moment you're looking at a Yonex or Victor and they use different terminology, you know, they'll say, one will say the racket's head heavy, the other will say it's a 295 mil balance, and you know, we're not doing that. We're giving you the same terminology and the same testing, so you can compare like for like. That's never been done before in this industry, in this sport. Now, once you decipher a few rackets, you can then press on the logo, go into the actual racket page, and you get a load of information, including JPEG videos, test results, and so forth. Quite deep testing, and as I said already, the 2020 version of this page is going to get upgraded to even deeper testing, and so therefore you'll have an even deeper understanding. The parameters you need to understand in terms of our testing is we restring all of our rackets with Yonex BG65 at £25. We use the same shuttles, the Yonex AS30s for all tests, and we have the same player doing our testing. We're now going to move on to the smash and maneuver test. The parameters surrounding those tests are very simple. We take 6 shots, we average the top scores. If we're happy with those tests, we average the top scores from each test. We measure the shuttle speed on the smash test and the head speed of the racket on the smash test in kilometers per hour, and we get a smash score and smash speed, which is then entered into the E-Zone. With the maneuver, it's the racket head speed moving, the 2 fastest speeds get averaged, and we measure those in kilometers per hour to give us a maneuver speed and maneuver score. As soon as these videos are done, we will be ending this video, so I'm going to say bye now, and here is your smash shot.